xây tương thân tình trong đạo Phật, tùy khác màu nhưng một tôn sư. Hôm nay đây cùng nhau họp mặt, quyết nói theo đường Phật giáo Hoàng Dương.
Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Con là Đại Đức Ấn Minh, con cung kính chào chư tôn đức giáo phẩm và Đại Đức Tăng Ni và quý Phật tử trong cái chương trình Sống Này Sống Phật. Hôm nay con có duyên sự hôm nay để chia sẻ Phật pháp bằng tiếng Anh chung với sư chú Ấn Tri, sư đệ của con. So we're back today with my Dharma brother, my younger Dharma brother Ấn Tri, and we're going to discuss continuing what we discussed last week. And Ấn Tri, you want to continue on with any questions you have?
Okay, yeah. So on the last episode, we were talking about the three poisons, or the greed and anger and ignorance that all human beings have. And so my first question would be, what would be the best way for us to realize that we have this, and what would be, on the next question, or coming to the realization of removing this from ourselves?
Okay, so basically you're asking, what can we do to remove greed, anger, and ignorance? Well, in order for us to remove greed, anger, and ignorance, there has to be a particular practice. It doesn't matter, the Buddha said there are 84,000 techniques or methods for us to develop ourselves to become enlightened. It doesn't necessarily have to be just one method. There's the chanting method, there's the mantra method, there is the bowing method, there is the Pure Land method where you recite the Buddha's name, there's meditation, there's countless ways.
Interesting.
Now the thing is, in any of those methods that the Buddha taught, all of them falls under three pillars of three foundational pillars. First one is morality. It's basically, morality is the five precepts. One, thou shalt not, one, you should not kill. Two, one shall not steal. Three, one shall not perform sexual misconduct. Four, one shall not lie or use false speech. Five, one shall not use intoxication to cloud the mind. Five basic precepts. And the morality is basically, it helps us keep in line with the laws of cause and effect. Remember, the laws of cause and effect is whatever action that you do always has a specific reaction. So if one shall not kill, one shall not steal, one shall not perform sexual misconduct, one shall not use false speech, and one shall not cloud the mind with intoxicants, you're basically living in line with the laws of cause and effect, but in a more positive way. Right? So you're training yourself from a mental level, from the thought level, of always doing the good, the most positive things. The second pillar is a concentration of mind, which is one of the techniques that I'm going to share with you. But before I move on with that, the third pillar is wisdom. There has to be morality, concentration, and wisdom. Those three sets the foundation for anyone that wants to pursue the path towards enlightenment. But let's go back to the law, to concentration of mind.
Okay.
I want to share with you meditation. And the reason why I like to share meditation is because this technique I'm going to share with you can be done wherever you are. You can either be driving, you can either be walking, studying, you can be working, you can be at school, you can be before you're going to sleep. Anytime you want, you can use this method. And so this method can be used by sitting down, posture is straight, your neck and your shoulders are always relaxed, you're focusing on this triangular region of the nose. The triangular region of the nose is the area of the tip of the nose, the area of the nostril, and the area of the upper lip. This right here consists of the triangular region of the nose. Now, there are three stages to this meditation. It's called Anapana meditation. Anapana, A-N-A-P-A-N-A. Ana means in, pana means out. The whole meditation is called Anapana Sati Bhavana. Sati, M-A-T-I means mindfulness. Bhavana means meditation. So this meditation is mindful of the in and out of the breath. So when you breathe in, know that you breathe in. When you breathe out, know that you breathe out. When you breathe in and your breath is slow and steady, you observe at that moment your breath is slow and steady. If you breathe out and your breath is long and harsh, observe at that moment your breath is long and harsh. Do not try to control the breath. Do not try to regulate the breath. But observe the natural flow of the breath. When you start to observe the natural flow of the breath, like I said in the last episode, your mind's going to enter 3 different stages. The second stage is observing the touch of the breath. As you breathe in and your breath becomes very calm, you can start to feel the subtle breath touch the inner walls of your nostril. Eventually, your mind enters the 3rd stage. And the 3rd stage is feeling the sensation. When you start to feel the sensation, you can feel it. It can be a hot sensation, a cold sensation, a numbing sensation, any sensation. But the reason why we use this nose right here is to train our mind. It's basically to sharpen our mind. Like if you were to get a knife and a sharpening block, you start to sharpen it. And the more you start to sharpen the edge or work on the edge, the sharper the knife will get. So once the knife becomes super sharp, it only becomes sharp when you focus on a particular region, right? And that region here would be the nose. And this nose, over time, your mind will become, basically, you trained your mind to always be mindful. You're mindful of the present moment. But to answer your question, because we're humans,
right,
we're going to experience pain. We're going to experience disappointment. We're going to experience anger, greed, and ignorance.
Right.
It's what makes us human. However, once you're mindful of the present moment, right, you're not in the reactive stage, but you're in a response page. The difference between reaction and response. A reaction is basically something that is subconscious, right?
Right.
Like if someone says something bad and you automatically just say something bad back, that's a reaction. And a reaction, whether you know you did something or whether you're unconscious of you know something, you put into motion the laws of cause and effect in the negative way. However, if you're training your mind to become more responsive, to respond rather than to react, then what happens? You're using, what you said before, patience before we act. Now, when we practice patience before we act, then if someone were to say something bad, like, Angji, you're not good, and then if you were to practice patience, you see at that moment anger arise.
Right.
Through our own mindfulness, we're able to experience the anger arising. However, this is where it's different from a reaction. Because a reaction, if anger were to arise, we blindly attach ourselves to the anger. And then we say something bad, or we think something bad, we say something bad, or we do something bad.
Right.
We're putting into motion the laws of cause and effect in a negative way. However, now that anger arises and you respond, I can either choose to not do anything or just let it go. And like anything else, like any other sensation, it arises only to pass away. Right? And so, how do we remove all these from our mind? Is the more we respond, over time we start to, all the greed, all the anger, all the ignorance within our mind will start to come up. And the more we respond positively, it removes itself, it arises only to pass away. However, if you react, what we're doing is we're adding more layers. More layers into our mind. But if we were to respond, what we're doing is we're letting it outside of our mind.
I see.
Right? And through that own practice, That's how the Buddha removed all of the greed, anger, and ignorance within his own mind.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I'd just like to say that it's very cool to hear that you can train something like the mind, because in terms of science, people claim that of course you can't see it, you can't really know where it is, but it's really interesting to see that something that you can't see physically, you can develop through breathing techniques, such as, I like to compare it with going to the gym, because when you go there, you develop your body, but you teaching breathing techniques and to train the mind is very beneficial too. So
yes. I will explain that afterwards, but right now the time has ended for the commercial break, but we will continue after these commercial breaks. Thank you so much.
Xây tương thân tình trong đạo Phật, tùy khác màu nhưng một tôn sư. Hôm nay đây cùng nhau họp mặt, quyết noi theo đường Phật giáo